Osborne case last year. And Osborne required the board to change how it conducts rescission hearings. However, our review revealed three main findings. The first finding is that commissioners continue to violate the Osborne order by improperly prohibiting altogether or significantly limiting a parole candidate's opportunity to testify in rescission hearings. The second finding is that parole grants were rescinded in 90% of the scheduled rescission hearings, including all 10 of the hearings in which the board prohibited or severely limited the parole candidate's testimony. All 10. The third finding was that across the remaining 25 rescission hearings we looked at, the scope of permitted testimony was extremely variable across commissioners throughout the year. If you have not yet seen the Osborne order, please ask your counsel to share it with you so that you better understand the problems that you're causing in these hearings. The Osborne order was more than a year ago now, yet the board continues to try to hold on to the old way of doing things, an old way that was directly condemned by the court in an order the board did not appeal. So when a parole candidate goes to court to challenge the board's unlawful action, and when the court agrees with the parole candidate that the board's practices are illegal, you have to change your practices. It's pretty simple. Your continued refusal to do that destroys any trust you want to build with the people whose future depends on your commissioners operating in a fair and transparent manner. I strongly urge you to do better, to follow court orders, and make this process fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairperson, there are no more speakers for general comments.
Thank you. I will now call roll for the commissioners participating in public comment, deliberations, and voting on the cases on today's agenda. All other commissioners are excused. Chairperson is present. Commissioner Cassidy?
Present.
Commissioner Dobbs?
Present.
Commissioner Cozell?
Present.
Commissioner Long?
Present.
Commissioner Muniz?
Present.
Commissioner Purcell?
Present.
Commissioner Sergeant Burns?
Present.
Commissioner Schneider?
Present.
Commissioner Thornton?
Present.
Commissioner Weiss?
Here.
And on video, we should have Commissioner Tyra.
Here.
Thank you. Please note for the minutes that a majority of the commissioners currently appointed are present in person. We will now hear comments regarding cases on today's agenda. If you wish to speak today, you must sign up on the speaker list. A speaker card is available on the board's website under the tab Board Meetings and the link Meeting Agendas. Alternately, you can call 916-267-0857 and provide your information and a case you would like to speak on. If the case you want to speak on has already passed, you will have another opportunity to speak once we have gone through all the cases. For each case, first, we will take comments from those in support of the incarcerated person. Then, we will take comments from those in opposition to the incarcerated person. We will call on people by either the name provided or the last digits of their telephone number. We will enable the person's microphone so they can unmute and provide their comment. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak. Comments are limited to 2 minutes. There's no rebuttal. If you are speaking, please eliminate any background noise. So the first case we have on the agenda is item number 12, Ernesto Gonzalez. Please note, under the Penal Code, public comment is not permitted for item number 12 because it is a tie vote. The next case is Ronald Weaver v. 99024, item number 13. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
Chairperson, there are no speakers signed up to speak in support of Ronald Weaver.
Thank you. We'll now take speakers in opposition to Ronald Weaver.
People who signed up to speak in opposition to Ronald Weaver, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button or press *5 on your telephone. This will help us enable your microphone. The first speaker is Phyllis Jess. Please be sure that you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Ronald Weaver is in prison for committing lewd acts on two little girls, 7 and 4. This only gives a glimpse of who he was then and is now. He demonstrates a disturbing evidence of a lifelong pedophilic disorder that is not resolved. He admitted sexually abusing his 8-year-old sister when he was 11, a period he still describes as the most loving, intimate, and pleasurable sexual experience of his life, even when compared with his adult sexual experiences. At 32, Weaver continued to struggle with his pedophilia. He sought the help of a psychologist. If I could start a healthy relationship with a woman, I would be less likely to give in to my attraction to children. He has repeatedly insisted that a relationship with an adult female is his primary coping mechanism. He argued with the commissioners when they challenged this notion. I can choose to act on my attraction to adult women and not to act on my attraction to children. His fear of women, he claims, prevented him from making this choice in the past. He says flat out, my objective is to have a real relationship with somebody and get my needs met through that relationship so that I don't have to turn back to children again. He does not have any adult female relationships, nor has he addressed healthy relationship issues in any meaningful way. When the one adult relationship he did have ended, he immediately reverted to sexually abusing a 4-year-old girl. He has been an abuser of female children his entire lifetime. For more than 2 decades in the community, he was unwilling and unable to curb those desires despite knowing it was wrong. Even when he was arrested and on bail for the life crimes, he continued to reach out to children to satisfy his needs via child porn. He began to program a short time ago. He has learned to regurgitate self-control tools he uses when triggered by the sight of children. He adamantly challenges his diagnosis of a pedophilic disorder. Quote, my perspective is that being diagnosed with a pedophilic disorder makes people think that I am dangerous when I am not. We urge this grant be rescinded. He is dangerous. He is an unreasonable risk. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is Linda Eiler. If you are on video, please unmute yourself by pressing the microphone button. If you are on phone, please unmute yourself by dialing *6.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm going to get to the point. Ms. Jess said exactly what I was going to say, but basically he took 20 years to decide that the way to get out was to tick all the boxes. He does have a long history as early as 11 years old. The things he did while he was in the social areas of his life was more than just the 2 little girls he got caught for. There were 4 others ready to come and testify. That is in his appeal, actually. I think that given all the laws that are out there, when society says life, 75 years to life, life means life. I understand the law has exceptions, etc. But when you look at risk assessment, even though it is very sparse out there as far as things that I've been able to find online about risk assessment, there are very few things that really speak to recidivism, except for the very long history in California of having low. The problem is that if you let him back out, just like the first time he got out for probation or parole, I think it was a hearing, he was out on bail. He immediately began stalking children. He immediately drove by our house. He immediately reverted back to his same old habits. And his plan to be released back into society is to get a job in the same industry at the same places where we live and work and where he lived and worked, where he met us. He wants to also return to groups where he met the Thurmans, the second thing. He wants to let you think that he's going to get into a normal relationship. Normal women
Your
do
2
not
minutes has
want-
elapsed. Please conclude your statement.
Yes. please, for God's sakes, say no, he's a danger.
Thank you. Chairperson, there are no more speakers for Ronald Weaver.
Thank you, moderator. The next case is Joseph Flores, BC0039, item number 14. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
Chairperson, there are no speakers signed up to speak in support of Joseph Flores.
Thank you. We'll now take speakers in opposition to Joseph Flores.
Chairperson, there are no speakers signed up to speak in opposition to Joseph Flores.
The next case is Alan Kraninsky, E21478, item number 15. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
People who signed up to speak in support of Alan Krasitsky, please raise your hand in the Microsoft Teams button or press *5 on your telephone. This will help us enable your microphone. The first speaker is Camille Gagala. Please be sure that you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Camille Gagala.
Hold on 1 second. You're going to get your microphone.
Good afternoon.
There you go.
Testing.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Camille Gagala. I served in the Marine Corps for 4 years, from 2000 to 2004, including Operation Iraqi Freedom. When my service ended, I expected to be myself again. It doesn't work that way. It took me about a year. Alan is family to me. I have visited him more times than I can count. We spent years building a bond. Over those years, I have watched him. Trust isn't something that is given easily. It is something earned slowly over time. Alan earned it by showing up the same way every day, year after year. No performance, no games, just the same man doing the work. I've also watched him be honest about his past, and that's not easy. It would be easier to make excuses, to soften it, to look away. He doesn't. He accepts full responsibility for what he did and who he hurt. That takes courage. I know this man, and I trust him completely. When he comes out, he won't be alone. I'll be there. I'll go to AA meetings with him. I'll help him navigate a world that's almost 4 decades different from the one he remembers. I'll walk with him to the hard times, because I know there will be hard times. I'm asking you to give him a chance. He's ready, and so am I. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker we have is Curtis Jurgens. Please step toward the podium. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Oh, there we go. Good morning, commissioners. How you doing? My name is Curtis Jurgens. I've known Alan for quite a few years. I'm a retired Master Sergeant from the United States Air Force, 28 years. And when Alan went in, I was a little kid. Now I got a gray beard. And I'm looking forward to helping him when he gets out and teaching him how to drive a car and for him to help me do things. And I had a whole thing in my mind of what I was going to say, and getting up here right now kind of slips away, but I really want to emphasize the fact that, you know, he's not the same person that he was when he went in. And as Camille said so well, he owns everything that he did. He's not in denial of anything that he did. And I don't feel that he's a danger to anybody. I wouldn't put anybody in danger. I've spent my whole life in service, and I'm not afraid of them. And I've dealt with many people over the years as a service member, training and getting to know people and mentoring people. And there are absolutely zero red flags when it comes to Alan. And I really hope that you guys will consider, him and let him be a part of our lives actively. And I'm going to be there to support him. And he's got a good network of upstanding people, behind him. He's not alone, and we're not going to let him do anything. I don't think he's going to, but anyway, that's what I got to say. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker we have is Chad Lathrop. Please step toward the podium. Your 2 minutes will begin when you begin to speak.
Hit this?
It was on.
Good morning. I'm not too good at standing in front of people, but I'm going to give it a shot here. I've known Alan, come to know him over the years. He's good. He's a good guy. Even have a job for him at the family business when he gets out. So I look forward to helping him as well as Camille and Curtis. He's got a strong team behind him, and I can promise you I would not let somebody in my family's homes that I didn't trust or believe in. If he messes up, I'll be the first one to bring him back to you. I promise. Yeah, give him a shot. Please. That's all I got.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Bob Polkinghorn. If you are on video, please unmute yourself by pressing the microphone button.
How's that? Did that work?
We can hear you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, and thanks for your service. For the past 10 years, I've been a volunteer at CMF Hospice. I spent the majority of my career in public education as a teacher, a school principal, and a school board member. And prior to retirement, spent 20 years as a vice president with the University of California. I've known Alan for many years in his role as a hospice worker, basically doing the day-to-day care of patients in the last stages of life. Alan and his fellow workers provide the day-to-day care in every way that you can imagine. And my view is that most people in society wouldn't even consider doing this work. Alan's competent in his application of skills. He's articulate, and he is kind beyond words. He respects authority, and he respects the dignity of every person that he works with, no matter the situation. He also sits vigil with patients who are actively dying. He comforts family members who visit their loved ones for the last time, and often helps facilitate broken relationships. The best way to put it is this, I think. If I had a family member who required the care of hospice, I would want Alan above anyone else I know to be their caregiver. And I think if you knew him personally, I'm pretty sure you'd feel the same way. I have complete confidence that Alan would never, ever reoffend. I've never observed him angry or frustrated or irritable or have an attitude, despite some very tough situations. He has completed extensive rehabilitation coursework at CMF, and in my view is completely rehabilitated and fully remorseful. In my view, again, he represents the very best of what CDCR stands for in terms of rehabilitation. He has 3 young children. His wife is fully and professionally employed. He poses no risk or danger to anyone.
Your 2 minutes has elapsed. Please conclude your statement.
Thank you. In my considered view, is fully ready to resume his rightful place in society. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is Cassie Thorsten. Please be sure that you are unmuted by pressing the microphone button. If you're on the phone, please press *6.
Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. My name is Cassandra, and I'm Alan Krunitzky's niece. For as long as I can remember, my uncle and I have stayed connected through letters. He has been my pen pal for many years, and through those letters, I have come to know his heart, his kindness, and the kind of person he truly is. Even while being separated from our family, my uncle has always taken the time to encourage me, offer wisdom, and show genuine care for the people in his life. His words have always reflected patience, compassion, and a deep concern for others. Those qualities are especially clear in the way he speaks about family, children, and the importance of treating people with kindness and respect. I truly believe that his kind nature and big heart will be welcomed in society. He has always shown an ability to connect with people in a positive and supportive way. The same compassion that he has shown through the years in his letters is something that will help him build healthy relationships and contribute positively to the community. My family and I believe he is capable of successfully reintegrating into society. He has a support system that cares deeply about him and wants to see him succeed. I believe that given the opportunity, he will continue to demonstrate the same kindness, responsibility, and care for others that I have seen throughout my life. Thank you for your time and for considering my words today.
Thank you. The next speaker is Mary Benson. If you are on video, please unmute yourself by pressing the microphone button. If you are on the phone, please unmute yourself by pressing *6. I see that you are on the telephone. Please dial *6 to unmute yourself. Oh, I apologize. Mary, I can see that you are muted. If you click on the microphone button in the Microsoft Teams control bar. I can still see that you are muted. We'll move on to the next speaker. We have Janelle Young. If you are on video, please press the microphone button to unmute yourself.
My name is Janelle, and I'm Alan's wife. There's a lot I'd like to say, but I'm going to focus on 3 things. 1, Alan wants a boring life, which is good, because I'm the most boring person I know. I never drank or did drugs. I don't have any tattoos, and the only piercings I have are the ones my parents got me when I was a baby. My days center around work, the kids' ballet lessons, and Little League, and that's how I like it. I tell you this because the quiet life I lead is the one Alan has doggedly pursued for almost 10 years now. When we talk about a possible future, he doesn't pine for wild nights in Vegas, but for building raised garden beds and cheering himself hoarse at the kids' ball games. My home, which is also his home, is a safe place, which brings me to my second point. Alan is wonderful with me and the kids. Despite prison, Alan is close with all 3 of the children. His interest in them is palpable, as is his love, and they respond in kind. He's read dozens of books on autism and child development, and has taken every course on parenting available at CMF and on his tablet. Alan shows the same sort of dedication to our relationship. For being an exceptionally talkative man, he can be a really good listener. He's willing to engage with perspectives different from his own, and to change when something he's doing isn't working. He approaches our disagreements with calm, patience, and a genuine commitment to understanding and improving, which brings me to my 3rd and final point. The change in Alan is real. The family of a patient Alan cared for told me they were amazed by how much Alan did, said he could have done the minimum and no one would have noticed. But Alan is who he is now all the time, not just when someone's standing over him. This is in part because he believes in a higher power, an afterlife, and there are people in that afterlife he owes a debt to. In his mind, they are always watching. Alan is not the man he was 38 years ago. He accepts full responsibility for the harm he's done, and instead of collapsing under the weight of that guilt and shame, which I can assure you he does feel, he uses it to strengthen his commitment to a life of service and growth. My family may not be conventional, but it is stable, supportive, and strong. If you give us a chance.
Your 2 minutes has elapsed. Please conclude your statement.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is Mike Kronitsky. Please be sure that you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
I wrote a prepared statement. I'm reading it. I'm speaking in support of my brother's request for parole. I've remained closely involved in his life throughout his incarceration, and I've witnessed firsthand his genuine changes he's made over the years. From the beginning of his sentence, I've tried to be present in his life. I visited him, wrote letters and consistently, and provided financial support whenever possible so he could focus on improving himself rather than merely surviving day to day. Through our conversations and correspondence over the years, I've watched him reflect deeply on the choices that led him to prison and take responsibility for them. During this time, he's worked hard to grow into a better man. One of the most meaningful developments in his life has been his work in hospice care within the facility. Caring for people at the end of their lives requires patience, compassion, and humility. Seeing him commit himself to comforting others during such vulnerable moments has shown me how much his character has changed. I also helped him rebuild a stable personal life. Through years of communication and support, he was able to form a healthy relationship and ultimately find a wife who believes in the person he's become, as you can see. The relationship has been a powerful source of accountability and encouragement for him. The brother I see today is not the same person who entered prison. He spent years reflecting, learning, and dedicating himself to helping others. I truly believe he's prepared to return to society as a responsible, compassionate member of the community. If granted parole, he will not be alone. I'll continue to support him just as I have throughout his incarceration, emotionally, practically, and financially if needed, to help ensure a successful reintegration. Thank you for taking the time to consider my perspective and my request for my brother's parole. That's all.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is Heather McLeod. Please be sure that you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
My name is Heather McLeod. I'm a retired school teacher. And I want to say that when your daughter tells you that she's talking to a guy in prison, you're not really thrilled right away. You don't say, oh, great, that's really who I was hoping you would connect with. And that was my first reaction to Alan. And she said, no, you got to come, you got to meet him. And so I met him playing games. And I think you can learn, especially as a teacher, you can learn a lot about people and how they play games. And so we were playing board games in the, whatever they call that room. And what I saw was that Alan wasn't trying to win. He wasn't trying to do the best. He wasn't trying to dominate anyone. But he understood that the real point of a game was for everybody to have fun. Like that people's secret meannesses come out sometimes when they play games. There was no secret meanness. He was having fun, connecting with everyone, talking smack with Camille, who was talking smack right back and teasing each other. And you know, apparently he's elderly now, officially, which I don't know what that makes me. But I heard that he's having some troubles with his hearing. And I was just imagining what it might be right now for Camille and Alan to be hanging out together and making fun of the jokes that you make when you're elderly. So I have to say I have changed my attitude. From being cautious and to actually coming to their wedding.
Oops.
You did mute. I'm so sorry. Somebody, I think, might have accidentally muted you. You may continue your statement.
Oh, anyway, so I have changed my attitude. I have seen who Alan is now. I never knew him then, but I have seen how good he is with the kids. I have seen how well he loves Janelle, and bottom line as a mother, that's what you care about. Is
Your
you
2
care
minutes has
about...
elapsed. Please conclude your statement.
So thank you. I appreciate you hearing us and hope you will release him. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to return to Mary Benson. It looks like your hand is raised. Let's give this another try. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak. We'll move on to the next speaker. The next speaker we have is Bernie Young. Please be sure that you are unmuted. You can click on your microphone button in Microsoft Teams, and your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
All right, thank you. My name is Dr. Bernie.
I apologize. You were muted. Go ahead and restart.
All right. I'm still Dr. Bernie Young, and I am a university professor in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and a sister to Janelle, making Alan my brother-in-law. And I cannot, in 2 minutes, do more than just echo and repeat what everyone before me has so eloquently said. Alan is a great guy, and he has a community welcome to support and reintegrate him. And I count myself fortunate to be a member of that community. And so I'll simply, in deference to everyone's time, just add my voice to the chorus and support for Alan and how I'm looking forward to doing my part to help him re-enter the community when it's his time. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is Katie Gilbert. Please be sure to unmute yourself by clicking on the microphone button in Microsoft Teams. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I represented Alan Krynitsky at his hearing and submitted a request for decision review. I don't do that lightly. The compound presumptions of parole under Penal Codes 3041, 4801, and 3055 were only enhanced by Mr. Krynitsky's incredible record and testimony. He is 13 years disciplinary free. He has over 25 laudatory chronos, some of which contain uniquely detailed and powerful observations of Mr. Krynitsky's good character. And of course, you see how many people showed up for him here today. His support system is anchored by his cherished wife and children. And sadly, that support triggered pages of hostile questioning regarding his accomplished wife and why she would be with him, and then was twisted into a strangely formed reason for denial. Mr. Krynitsky is almost deaf in one ear and lost his left eye, but manages to effectively communicate with a combination of lip reading and partial hearing. He was afforded those accommodations without any backlash at his CRA, and the doctor concluded that he had good insight and posed a low risk. But when he showed those signs of hearing impairment at our hearing, he was told to hold on 41 times and worse, to settle down. And yet he still provided ample testimony on his pro-social attitudes. The panel unfortunately misinterpreted his hearing impairment as image management. They manufactured a domestic violence risk without any evidentiary basis, and they ignored his extensive reflections on victim impact. The panel only gave lip service to youth and elderly parole factors and ultimately failed to provide any rational basis for a denial because one simply does not exist. Although the hospice program at CMF will miss him dearly, please modify this decision to the fairest one available, which is a grant. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is Christine Bozeman. Please unmute yourself in Microsoft Teams by clicking the microphone button. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak. I can see that you are muted. If you click on the microphone button, it should unmute, and we should be able to see that that has been completed. We still cannot hear you. For speakers who are having trouble with their microphones, you can attempt to call in to our meeting. The phone number and the invite information is on the agenda. There will be another opportunity at the end of this as we go through our hearings, our participants, to re-speak. As of now, Chairperson, there are no more speakers in support of Alan Krynitsky.
Thank you, moderator. We'll now take speakers in opposition to Alan Krynitsky.
The first speaker we have is Stephen Weiss. Please be sure that you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak. We show that you are still muted. Let me see if we can try and enable your, it looks like your microphone is enabled on our end. Again, perhaps maybe try calling into the meeting using the meeting invitation information, and we will give those an opportunity at the end of today's cases. Chairperson, there are no speakers in on opposition to Alan Krenitsky.
Thank you. The next case is Geraldo Romero, F05653, item number 16. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
Chairperson, there are no speakers signed up to speak in support of Geraldo Romero.
Moderator will now take speakers in opposition to Geraldo Romero.
People who signed up to speak in opposition to Geraldo Romero, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button, or press *5 on your telephone. This will help us enable your microphone. The first speaker we have is Lisa Gibbons. Please be sure you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Lisa Gibbons, and I'm here because I am the registered next of kin of a victim. On the morning of January 8th, I expected to receive a link to join the parole hearing, but I did not. I tried emailing Detective McClure from the DA's office. He referred me to Nadine Teeter. I emailed her, got an automatic response back. She's out of the office, and referred me to Connie Arambula. I called and left her a message. Then I tried calling the number on the letter I received from CDCR from San Quixote. Now I was able to speak to her. After I explained my situation, she told me to prove it. I needed guidance, not a snide remark. Getting nowhere with her, I hung up. From there, it just fell apart. I was in such a frenzy, I had forgotten I took pictures of my reservation ID. On January 10th, I received a text from DA James Baker wanting to know if I had issues getting online because he also did. And from there, he realized my right to appear and express my concerns was violated. I was unable to attend because my registration was lost while the CDCR computers were undergoing maintenance. I'm not sure why I need to ask you for an en banc review since I had nothing to do with this problem. I do realize that the CDCR only became aware of this issue once DA James Baker appealed and asked me to also send a message, which I did, asking why I was never given an invite to join the parole hearing. And I would also like to thank Chief Counsel Jessica Blanini for her findings that it is an error of law and to vacate the parole grant. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is Julianne Walker. Please be sure you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Good morning. We have submitted a letter from DDA James Baker to the board, so we hope that you will consider that today. And clearly, this is an improper violation of the victim's next of kin's rights, and we are confident that the board will understand it to be such. And thank you for your time on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is Mike Young. Please be sure you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Young, Assistant Chief of the Office of Victim Services at CDCR. We just wanted to briefly make a statement to, for the sake of transparency, that the victim, Ms. Gibbons, did make a timely request to our office to attend the parole hearing. Unfortunately, due to an OVSRS technical upgrade with the system, her response was missed for this hearing. The victim did everything correct to assert her rights, and her missing the hearing was completely a fault of OVSRS. We appreciate the Commissioner's consideration of the significant issue in this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairperson, there are no more speakers for Geraldo Romero.
Thank you. The next case is David Nichols, F99945, item number 17. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
People who signed up to speak in support of David Nichols, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button or press *5 on your telephone. This will help us enable your microphone. The first speaker we have is Alex Gallardo. Please be sure that you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak. Alex, if you are with us, we cannot hear you. If you are on the telephone, dial *6 to unmute yourself. I do see the phone number associated with Alex. Let me see if we can allow your microphone. Okay. Alex, please dial *6 to unmute yourself. I do see the phone number ending in 2469 is unmuted, but we cannot hear you. I apologize. I may have jumped the gun here. I'm on the wrong participation list. I apologize.
Oh.
Chairperson, there are no speakers in support of David Nichols.
Thank you. We'll now take speakers in opposition to David Nichols.
People who signed up to speak in opposition to David Nichols, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button or press *5 on your telephone. This will help us enable your microphone. The first speaker we have is Timothy Weirtz. Please be sure you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, commissioners, for your time. I'm speaking on behalf of the Placer County District Attorney's Office and urging decision of parole rescission on this matter. Mr. Nichols, I'm referring to the report in his C file that I received for the En Banc from November 10th of 2026 and November 6th, 2026, which indicate he had a positive marijuana result on November 6th of last year. And this is really in keeping with the same issues that I noted in my opposition initially, where Mr. Nichols engages in self-sabotage in times of stress. This was just before his parole hearing when he had the positive result. It's in keeping with his bad decision-making, which has led him to not only his life crime, the 290 offense, which he says was the result of losing his employment once his past sex offense was discovered by his previous employer when he decided to go on abscond from parole and not register, but also towards robberies and rapes that he committed in the past when he was, by his own admission, under a great deal of stress because he was on AWOL from the military, and his coping methods are consistently antisocial and self-destructive. This new updated positive result indicates he still has those negative coping skills and needs more programming before he's suitable for parole. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairperson, there are no more speakers for David Nichols.
Thank you, moderator. The next case is Teodoro Bermudez, K 14863, item number 18. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
People who signed up to speak in support of Teodoro Bermudez, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button or press *5 on your telephone. This will help us enable your microphone. This person, the first person we have is Alex Gallardo. Please be sure you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak. If you are on the telephone, please dial *6 to unmute yourself at this time, and you may begin speaking.
Hello, am I there?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello. Father has been incarcerated for many years, and during that time, he has taken the opportunity to reflect, grow, and learn. I truly believe that he has gained valuable insight and personal growth that could possibly impact others if given the chance. He deserves an opportunity to reintegrate into society where he can contribute to his community and rebuild meaningful connections with his family. Ideally, this would include being closer to loved ones where he can continue his journey in a supportive environment. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is Robert Oystervich. Please be sure that you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak. Robert, if you're with us, please dial *6 to unmute your telephone, or click on the microphone button in Microsoft Teams. I do see your phone number associated with this case. Please dial *6 to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Hey, I'm calling in regard to, we fondly call him Tito. Bermudez is his last name. And what I've experienced in the time that I've spent with him, I'm a religious volunteer at Sierra Conservation Center, and we've had many discussions. And what I've appreciated about Tito is the fact that he has a heightened appreciation for the sanctity of life. And there were times where we had one-on-one discussions when we were considering material, and he had the ability to draw out thoughts and scriptures from the Bible that weren't even in the lesson. That's an indicator that he meditatively reflects on God's written word. So, knowing Tito, it's been a privilege. It's been a privilege to see him grow, and I do not think he would be a threat to society if he was reintegrated into society. I really appreciate him, and once again, he has a heightened respect for the sanctity of life. And that concludes my comment.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is Nancy Gallardo. Please be sure that you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak. Nancy, if you are with us, please click on the microphone button in Microsoft Teams or dial *6 to unmute your telephone. Chairperson, there are no more speakers in support of Teodoto Bermudez.
Thank you, moderator. We'll now take speakers in opposition to Teodoto Bermudez.
People who signed up to speak in opposition to Teodoto Bermudez, please raise your hand using the Microsoft Teams button or press *5 on the telephone. This will help us enable your microphone. The first speaker we have is Dana Grayson. Please be sure that you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Thank you. This inmate drove under the influence at a .20 alcohol level and crashed into a vehicle, killing 9 members of a family of 11. The youngest victim was a 2-month-old infant. The car caught on fire and burned them to death. The inmate, who had been previously convicted 3 times of DUI and had been deported at least 10 times, took his identifying papers from his vehicle while the family burned and left the scene. This is the inmate's second en banc referral. The board set him for a rescission hearing in late 2024, and he was subsequently rescinded in 2025. He is here for basically the same reasons as last time. The governor asked to determine whether he has sufficiently mitigated his risk factor for substance abuse relapse. The 2024 CRA stated, although the inmate represents a low risk for violence, he continues to have problems lacking a comprehensive understanding of relevant variables that increase his risk of relapse into alcohol. His poor understanding of this risk of relapse is still obvious in his latest 2025 hearing. This was evidenced by his answers in his 2025 hearing, where the inmate assures the board it is not possible to relapse. Question: do you think it's possible for you to relapse if you were back out in the community? Answer: no. That seemed to concern the board. He was then asked what could trigger him to drink, and could not give an example of anything that might cause that to happen. When he was asked that question, he stated, I quote, "I do not understand what could cause me to go back to drinking." The CRA notes his vague relapse prevention plans and that he was not strong identifying his triggers. The inmate even agreed that that was true and blamed that on his poor education. We are left with the simple guarantee he will not drink. That is not safe, and this inmate, who will be released unsupervised into Mexico, is an unreasonable risk to public safety. Thank you.
Thank you. If you would like to make a comment on a case or provide a comment related to the board, you must be on the speaker list. To be added to the speaker list, please call 916-267-0857 and provide your information, name or digits of your phone number, and the case or item you would like to speak on, and whether you are calling in support or in opposition. Chairperson, there are no more speakers for Teolodo Bermudez.
Thank you. The next case is Horacio Flores Castro, BI 7942, item number 19. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
Chairperson, there are no speakers signed up to speak in support of Horacio Flores Castro.
Thank you. We'll now take speakers in opposition to Horacio Flores Castro.
Chairperson, there are no speakers signed up to speak in opposition to Horacio Flores Castro.
The next case is Tyrell Martin, AB 0871, item number 20. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
Chairperson, there are no speakers signed up to speak in support of Tyrell Martin.
Thank you. We'll now take speakers in opposition to Tyrell Martin.
The first speaker we have is Connie Lasky. Please be sure you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
She's in person.
Good afternoon now. The people share the governor's concerns about this inmate's second improvident grant of parole. In 2018, the inmate was granted parole after serving his initial determinate sentence for repeatedly molesting his 4-year-old cousin. During a short 8-month period of parole, the inmate received numerous parole violations for failing to register as a sex offender, associated with other convicted sex offenders outside of treatment, being in a community park where children were present, failing to attend ordered treatment, removing his GPS monitor, and absconding from parole. The inmate's father harbored him as a fugitive in Nevada. The inmate told the parole board that he removed his ankle monitor and fled to Nevada because he did not like the rules of parole, the rules that were imposed upon him to protect children, the most vulnerable members of our community, from this inmate. After he was sent back to prison, the inmate has failed to engage in relevant programming to reduce his risk. Previous panels told the inmate to engage in victim impact, victim awareness, and sex offender treatment. The inmate started studying the Road to Freedom book, but only managed to study the first few chapters, which did not include victim awareness or victim impact. Those chapters come later. The inmate provided different information to the clinician and to the board regarding his sexual attractions and the history of childhood sexual abuse, meaning he lied either to the clinician or to the panel. The clinician determined that the inmate posed an average risk on the SADC 99 and a moderate risk of violent recidivism, but both of those determinations may have been made based on false information. Additionally, this determination was made before the board began evaluating dynamic risk factors for sexual offending. However, the clinician did address this issue without the use of evidence-based evaluation and determined that the inmate's ongoing immaturity and emotional identification with children increases his risk for further child victimization. The clinician opined that the inmate needs further efforts to demonstrate his willingness to abide by the rules of parole. Even if paroled, the inmate will still be on parole for more than a decade. Parole which will require him to follow rules that he doesn't like, rules that are intended to protect the most vulnerable members of our society from his sexual deviance. The inmate said that he wants to live with his father in Nevada, the same father who harbored him as a fugitive and is unlikely to require him to abide by the terms of his parole. He wants to use social media to keep in touch with his father, not considering the risks that social media poses for a sex offender. For all of these reasons, this board must reverse this improvident grant of parole and determine that this inmate does continue to pose an unreasonable danger of public safety. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairperson, there are no more speakers for Tyrell Martin.
Thank you. We're nearing the end of today's agenda. We will have an opportunity for people to comment on any of the cases on today's agenda after the remaining 2 cases, but you must be on the speaker list. You can submit a speaker card available on the board's website under the tab called Board Meetings and the link called Meeting Agendas. Alternately, you can call 916-267-0857 and provide your information and the case you would like to speak on. The next case is Juan Salazar, F61944, Item number 21, moderator, please call for speakers in support.
Chairperson, there are no speakers signed up in support of Juan Salazar.
Thank you. We will now take speakers in opposition to Juan Salazar.
Chairperson, there are no speakers signed up to speak in opposition to Juan Salazar.
Thank you. The last case today is Robert Villalobos, AE 4241, item number 22. Moderator, please call for speakers in support.
People who signed up to speak in support of Robert Villalobos, please raise your hand in the Microsoft Teams control bar or press *5 on your telephone. This will help us enable your microphone. The first speaker we have is Mir Amini. Please be sure that you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Thank you, everyone. Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mir Amini. I serve as the program director of Project Rebound at Cal State University Fullerton, and I also facilitate workshops at Ironwood State Prison through the Re-Evolution organization, where we explore identity development. It's been my privilege to come to know Robert Villalobos through his work. Robert is not the same young man who entered prison. He is a man who has done the difficult internal work of growth and accountability. For more than 11 years, he has remained disciplinary-free, earned his high school diploma while incarcerated, and completed 2 associate degrees. He also has completed extensive coursework in alcohol and drug studies and earned vocational certifications, including becoming a state-certified peer support specialist. What stands out most to me is his commitment to serving others. He facilitates anti-gang mentoring, mentors youth, and has created the Living with Purpose podcast, which reaches incarcerated individuals across the state. His identity today is rooted in service, leadership, and responsibility. I know personally what transformation through higher education looks like. Education was my transformative practice, and it allowed me to reconstruct my own identity. I have served and assisted hundreds of formerly incarcerated individuals, and I have recognized that Robert has the tools, the mindset, and the support necessary to succeed in society. At Cal State Fullerton, we are prepared to assist him in the continuation of his academic journey, provide him with employment on campus, as well as housing. Releasing him would not weaken public safety, it would strengthen it. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. The next speaker on the list is Stephen Green. Please be sure that you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak. Stephen, if you are with us on video, you can use the microphone button in the Microsoft Teams control bar to unmute yourself, or dial *6 if you're on the telephone.
Hello?
We'll move on to the next speaker. Hello.
Hi, this is Samuel Piku. Can you guys hear me?
We can. You are our next speaker. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Sounds great. Okay, here we go. Well, good afternoon, members of the board. I have a written statement here prepared for you. My name is Samuel Piku. I am a pastor, and I've had the opportunity to work with Robert Villalobos and his family in a pastoral capacity. I personally facilitated premarital counseling with Robert and his wife before they were married. During that time, I was able to observe his character closely. In those sessions with Robert, he demonstrated humility, accountability, and a sincere desire to build a healthy and stable marriage. Throughout the counseling process, he showed a willingness to learn, accept guidance, and take responsibility for his past while focusing on building a better future. That kind of attitude is something I pay close attention to when I'm working with people, because in addition, Robert had shared with me reports of ways he had been helping others while incarcerated, encouraging people around him and making better decisions, pursuing positive change. From my perspective as a pastor who works with individuals and families regularly, I've seen consistent growth in Robert's character and maturity, and I believe he has developed the tools, support system, and mindset necessary to successfully reintegrate into society and live as a productive and pro-social member of the community. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is John Casario. please be sure that you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak. John, if you are with us, please unmute yourself with the microphone button in Microsoft Teams, or if you're on the telephone, dial *6 to unmute yourself. We'll move on to the next speaker. We have Jamel Carter. Please be sure that you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Jamel Carter. I'm a life coach with the Anti-Recidivism Coalition. ARC's mission is to reduce incarceration and to improve the outcomes of formerly incarcerated individuals. I currently facilitate several groups at Ironwood State Prisons. Those groups help individuals understand and develop insight, responsibility, and remorse. So I've had the opportunity to mentor Mr. Villalobos for like 7 years now. And we've been in the self-help groups. He's graduated from all the self-help groups. He's done, I heard the other brothers talk about some of the podcasts, and for me, he's helped me with, for a first time, a Spanish speaking group with ARC. So what I'm saying is he's done the hard work, and he's going to continue to do the hard work. And as a life coach, I'm going to continue to be a part of his life. If it is granted that he is able to come home, ARC provides a lot of the services that would allow him to be successful when he comes home, such as housing, job opportunities, counseling, and things like that. So if it is granted, you guys see that it's fit for him to come home, I would just say that he has support from me as a life coach. I will continue to be there, continue to help him do the hard work that's necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is Gabriel Villalobos. Please be sure that you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. My name is Gabriel Villalobos. I'm the brother of Robert. I'm a lead pastor of the Way World Outreach Church, and I'm very proud to be the younger brother of Robert Villalobos. Within the last decade, I've been able to witness and participate in my brother's growth and maturity. I'm very pleased to see his progress, and I've been close to my brother since birth, but even when he was incarcerated, I've stood close to him. His address may have changed, but our bond has still been unbreakable, and I'm very grateful for that. I understand that my brother committed a serious offense, and there is no way around that. There's nothing that I can say to fix that. I'm very saddened by this, knowing that a life was lost, and I pray that the victim's family will be restored and healed. Because of my brother's offense, that is why I'm very straightforward and strategic when I'm guiding him and mentoring him. I do not reserve myself when helping my brother. I address the correct things as needed. And what gives me hope in this situation is my God, but also meeting individuals who were sentenced to life in prison, but are now transformed and now free. I could describe my brother's character prior to committing this crime as a lost teenager who became a follower of the culture that was surrounding us. My brother had 2 mentors lined up for him in life. One was my father, who was focused on the street lifestyle and alcohol. The second mentor my brother was having was my mother, who was focused on my father and his ways. So though I love both of my parents and I honor both of them, they provided for us, and my mom showed us much love as she could. But without putting blame on my parents, I do believe their leadership had a significant impact on my brother Robert's decisions growing up as well as mine. I believe words need to be tested. Anyone.
Quien ha perdido un hijo sabe el dolor que se siente perder un hijo para una madre. Yeah, if you haven't lost a child, you don't know the pain of it, what it is to lose a child. It's something that she will never recover from, and she will have to live for the rest of her life. We cannot, Villalobos had to take away his future. We can't ask my brother all his accomplishments because he's not here no more. Like Villalobos accomplished a lot now in prison. No es justo que ya lo quieran dejar salir, porque entonces va a seguir haciendo lo mismo, porque va a decir que portándose bien lo dejan salir. Yo no quiero que él salga. Sí. she wants to oppose parole for him because letting him be released is telling our family, the youth, that you could take someone's life and you could get out for good behavior. He needs to serve his time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I do have some participants from previous cases that I will go back through. I will start with there was an oversight on our part for Julianne Walker on the case for Horacio Flores Castro. Julianne, please be sure you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Thank you. I first wanted to state and ask the board to consider the letter that was sent in opposition to this grant. It was authored by the DDA in attendance, Sylvia Moore, and I signed it for her for the submission. The main points are bolded in that letter, and I'll just repeat them here, that the panel improvidently lowered the CRA rating, and that was inappropriate given that the main premise was the continued programming that the inmate did, which is maybe around 11 hours of DV programming. And that's simply not enough to establish a lower rating on this matter. Additionally, the inmate's manipulation and scripted responses were apparent. He gave rote statements over and over instead of answering the questions posed by the panel, and he did not demonstrate true understanding and internalization of important DV concepts. And this was noted in the CRA where the where the clinician stated that the inmate demonstrated significant deficits in his understanding of the history of intimate partner violence and had difficulties demonstrating how he has changed his beliefs or learned to manage his behaviors to mitigate potential future violence. And this continued during the hearing that Ms. Moore attended and observed that he could not answer the questions. He did not understand the concepts, even when being led by the commissioners. So given all that, this grant was improvident, and we ask that it be set for a rescission hearing or out and out vacated today. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I will return to the Krenitsky case. We have 3 speakers I'd like to revisit and offer the opportunity to speak. First one being Mary Benson, who is having technical difficulties with your microphone. I'd like to give you one more chance. The next one was for Christine Busman, same case. And then finally, in opposition, we had Stephen Weiss on this case for Krenitsky. If you are with us, please unmute yourself. I do show you as still muted, so please be sure to click on your microphone button in Microsoft Teams. We are still unable to hear you. Please do try calling in. I have some other speakers here, so if you would attempt to call in, the phone number in which you could do so is 916-267-0857. I do have the phone number for Christine Bozeman raised, phone number 2234. Please unmute yourself. One moment, I'm going to enable your microphone. I apologize. Your microphone has been enabled. Please dial *6 to unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm Christine Krenitsky Bowserman, and I am Alan's sister, and I'm here to speak to release Alan. Alan and I were only 18 months apart. My older brother Michael was only 15 months apart, so he wasn't even 3 when Alan was born. So we spent our whole lives pretty much, together doing everything. We had a good life, but we had a very violent life. And Alan, it was just a really tough time for Alan, and Alan got blamed for a lot. I kept a relationship with Alan in jail, 10, 20 pages letter about what is you like in jail. And I can attest that I saw a change of Alan. And I remember when I told him, it was like, you found love. You found real love for the first time. And it was Janelle. 3 weeks ago, my crippled aunt with a severe cerebral palsy passed away. She had 8 nieces and nephews, 12 grandnieces and nephews. I called them all in. I flew out by myself. Nobody called, nobody came except for Alan. He called me, and he helped me help her pass on to the next life. And I saw an understanding of the value of life in Alan that I think he has had since hospice. And I know he's sorry, and I know he does understand now what he's done and how valuable his life is. And he has a good support system. He is a good guy, and I wish he could just live out the remaining of his life with his family. So I ask for you to please consider, and we will all be there with him. And as you saw from all the people who supported him, that's even how Alan was when he was little. When he went to jail, no one could believe it because he's got a good soul. Thank you.
Thank you. I've been notified to give Stephen Weiss one more try, and if he is unable to unmute himself, Julianne Walker will make a comment in his stead.
Yes, I think I've succeeded in talking through my phone. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
Okay, great. I'll leave the video on, but the sound will come through my phone. Okay, I'm Stephen Weiss. I'm an LA County Deputy District Attorney. I'm no relation to Commissioner Weiss. I was the DA present at this hearing. From what I understand, are you hearing me okay? Okay. The main allegation is that there was a mistake of law committed at the hearing, in particular that he was not given parole.
I apologize. I think somebody might have accidentally muted you. If on your telephone, if you dial *6, you can unmute yourself. I apologize. Try one more time.
Okay, it says I'm no longer muted. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and give you a restart on your time.
Okay, I don't think I need to repeat what I said, though. The allegation was a mistake not giving him adequate consideration for youth offender status and elderly parole status. I was going to talk more lengthy at that, but I'm going to rely on a written statement I submitted because I do want to address some new issues that came up here. But on those issues, it's clear there was no mistake of law. At the beginning of the hearing, the panel said he qualified for those. At the end of the hearing, in explaining their decision, they did consider those and balance them against the the aggravating factors. They fully explained their decision and particularly why those 2 issues of law were not enough to swing them away from a feeling of unsuitability. The conclusion of unsuitability was well supported by the evidence, and I think anyone who reads the transcript can see that. I was going to talk at more length, but instead I'm going to change because of the several people here who spoke on behalf of Mr. Knitsky. I don't doubt their sincerity, but aside from a mistake of law or a mistake of fact, another reason for a reversal is if there's new evidence. Now, I imagine, I don't recall if they submitted letters of support at the hearing offhand. I imagine they might have, and if they did, it was considered by the panel. If they didn't, though, if these are new thoughts, this is not new evidence, it's just old evidence, old support that could have been presented earlier and wasn't. And we know since he's given a minimal 3 years, that could be as little as 1.5, or given now that the hearing is 3 months in the past, in a year or so, they can present their support again. So these, even though they're sincere, I don't think they should have any bearing on the decision to be made by the board here. And I do want to reiterate, at the end of the hearing, the panel specifically found that in that hearing, Mr. Krasniqi was attempting to manipulate the panel by giving evasive answers and changing the subject. So,
your 2 minutes to last. Please conclude your statement.
All right. All in all, I think the decision was reasonable, and there's no legal reason to reverse it. And I appreciate the consideration of my written and oral statements. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker we have is for the Teodoso Bermudez case. We have Speaker Nancy Gallardo. Please be sure that you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Nancy Gallardo. I am my father's daughter. What happened on Father's Day weekend in 1994, I am now 40 years old and I have lived most of my life without my father physically present. For many years, we lost connection, and that was not easy. A couple of years ago, we have been rebuilding our relationship. The process involved difficult and honest conversations. I told him how I felt, and I asked questions that were not easy for him to answer, and he did not avoid them. He faced them with honesty, accountability, and remorse. Though those conversations, I have made peace. Today, I see a different man. My father is peaceful, reflective, and accountable. He has done the work to change. He spent his time working with the community church, and he has completed many rehab programs that have helped shape who he is today. He has gone through the parole process multiple times, and he has been found suitable for release. Although those decisions were not finalized, he has not lost faith. He has continued to do everything that has been asked of him, and he continues to grow. I am a nurse and a mother, and I understand responsibility, safety, and accountability. I would not support his release if I believed he was a risk. Based on the man that I know today, I truly feel he does not pose a risk to the public. If granted parole, he will have my full support and a stable environment to return to. He will not be alone. I respectfully ask that you consider who he is today, not only on the worst day of his life, but he is now a changed man. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. At this time, I will return to Mary Benson. It looks like we have you on the phone now. Dial *6 to unmute yourself, and your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak. Again, this is for the case for Alan Krasniqi.
Oh, thank you so much for your patience with my technology issues. My name is Mary Benson. I am a real estate broker, and I am speaking in support of Alan Krasniqi. I helped him and his wife to purchase a home some years ago, and I have stayed in touch with him, and he has become a friend through our virtual correspondence. I'm in frequent touch with Mr. Krasniqi, and I believe strongly that he has been rehabilitated. I have found him to be an emotionally mature and compassionate person. I have visited his home that has been purchased here in Lake County. I know his family. I can attest that he has a stable environment to come to upon release. I do not believe that he poses a risk to society, but rather I believe that he will be an asset to our community, and I'm glad to be part of his network of family and friends that are ready to help him upon release. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your patience with me.
Thank you. One more time, I'm going to read off the phone number. I have a person who does not have a speaker card submitted with their hand raised. Please call the 916-267-0857. The person is Miriam Moeller. Your hand is raised, but we do not have you as a speaker. So please do call that number. I will move on to some other speakers here. I have, for the Robert Villalobos case, I've been told that Stephen Green is present and ready to speak. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Stephen Green, and I thank you for allowing me to speak this afternoon. I am a third-year PhD student here at UCI, where I'm studying criminology and law and society. I also work with Project Rebound and Human Rights Watch, and most of my work focuses on rehabilitation and reentry. I'm here to support Robert Villalobos and the person that I know today, and it is heart-wrenching to hear the harm that he caused over 17 years ago. And my condolences to the victims and to the survivors. I have known Robert for over a decade, and over that time, I personally observed Robert real change. And just this past weekend, I spent an AVP workshop with Robert. I have personally seen Robert take accountability, show remorse for the harm that he has caused, and develop emotional intelligence as he remains smelly-free, mentored others, and actively participated in programs that foster this personal reflection. I'm committed to helping Robert navigate his reentry and connect him with resources he may need, and also connect him with a network of former lifers who are thriving in our community. And I respectfully ask this panel to give full weight to Robert, who he is today, and to affirm the earlier decision. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, same case, Robert Villalobos. I have John Casario as having submitted a speaker card. We have not yet heard from John. If you are with us, please dial *6 on your telephone to enable your microphone. Finally, we also have Julian Hernandez for the same case, Robert Villalobos. If you are with us, please either dial *6 or raise your hand in the Microsoft Teams control bar by dialing *7 if you're, or *5 on the telephone. Then we also have Socorro Hernandez. One last try for Socorro. And then finally, we have a public comment for Jaime Gonzalez Jr. This says is listed as in person, but I see it maybe a potential person online.
Hi, my name is Jaime Gonzalez. I am a current medical student in Mount Sinai in New York City. I went to Columbia University, graduated class of 2021. My father is in the audience. He spoke earlier, Mr. Jaime Gonzalez as well. And I think this is just a message for the commissioners who obviously have very hard decisions to make and really have to weigh these options and hear the cases and, you know, family stories. So I understand that the responsibility really takes a lot, but I understand that as well, the hope of parole, and I think the hope for families who can understand that many of what, you know, events that happen in the past cannot be unchanged, but are really influenced by a lot of social factors and a lot of people's upbringings. And I think understanding that holistic part of an inmate's experience, and I think for myself and my family, understanding where people are in life, it's been, I think, monumental to sort of understanding where community takes into account and how family takes into account of, you know, people are ready to receive, and families and communities are ready to receive inmates out into the community to help them be productive members of society, offer hope, offer whether it's financial support, emotional support, you know, structural support. There are numerous opportunities and resources in place that I think many organizers have devoted their lives to. And I think giving inmates that chance, or that second chance to be able to do so, really can have a profound impact. And I think we should be able to consider inmates and formerly incarcerated people as having
2 minutes
potential
elapsed.
to do
Please
so.
conclude your statement.
Concluded.
Thank you. The last speaker we have is for another public comment, Sue Kim with Uncommon Law. Please be sure you are unmuted. Your 2 minutes will begin when you start to speak. If you are with us, we cannot hear you. Please dial *6 if you are on the telephone to unmute yourself, or click on the microphone button in the Microsoft Teams control bar. Chairperson, there are no more speakers signed up for to speak for today's cases.
Thank you, moderator. On behalf of my colleagues, I wish to thank everyone for participating today. We will recess the open session of the March Executive Board meeting at this time. We will reconvene in open session tomorrow at 9 a.m. This meeting is now in recess.
Okay, I'll give these to Jessica.